Hello, everyone. It's Harry, your host from Money Teacher. Okay, so 58% of the American population would be included for the new $2,000 stimulus check or $2,000 dividend payment, as the president likes to call it. At least according to this article right here, which I'm going to pop up on the screen in just a second so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they're saying. But here's what's really interesting. This article is highlighting some remarks from high-profile people within the administration, most notably Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and his income threshold that he talked about, and it's making a really good point about what Americans are actually experiencing with their personal and household incomes. Now, I know many of you watching are wondering, is this really going to be coming in 2026? If so, when is it actually going to hit? And what are the real parameters around who's going to be included? I've been covering this story for months now, ever since the president first floated this idea back in early November 2025. And I've been saying the same thing all along. It's always based on nothing other than your income. That's it. Your income. It does not matter if you're working. Does not matter if you are filing a tax return. Does not matter if you're living on a fixed income benefit. It does not matter about anything else other than what is your income in relation to the threshold that they put in place. I want to break this down for you clearly because there's a lot of confusion out there and I want you to have the real information. All right, let me pop up this article right here, right now. Here's the article. Feel free to read through the details. Now, you might be thinking, wait, it says 42%. You said 58%. What's going on here? Here's the deal. I said 58% are included because this article actually talks about 42% of the population not being included. So rather than focusing on who's excluded, I'm focusing on who's included because I think people want to know that they're going to be included right now. Remember, back in early November 2025, it was actually November 10th or 11th, a day or two after the president posted about this $2,000 dividend paid to everybody excluding high-income people. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was out in an interview. In fact, I have a video right here on the channel from back in early November. Feel free to scroll back and find it. He mentioned that income thresholds would probably be under $100,000. Well, as mentioned here in this article, they're talking about household income or individual incomes of $100,000. According to Census Bureau information from 2025, about 42% of the population earned over $100,000, which honestly, I did not know it was that high. But here's what's really interesting, and this is super important. There's a huge difference between households and tax return data. Census data is based on households. But the distribution of these $2,000 payments is not based on a household. It's based on tax return income, whether somebody files or not. Let me give you a quick example because before I started filming this video, I was thinking of a family that I know. This is a household with like 6 or 7 people living in it. They're all working except for one minor. I would bet that between these 6 adults, they're probably earning well over $100,000 collectively. You don't have to earn that much when there's 6 adults, like $20,000 a person, and you're well over $100,000, right? So on a household basis, they would look like they earn over $100,000. But here's the thing, they don't all file the same tax return. In this household, there's a mother and father who are in their mid-60s. There's a daughter who's like 35 and 3 sons. One's like 33, another's 32, and another's 28 or 29. They're all adults living together. The mother and father file a tax return together as a joint return. The daughter files her own tax return and the 3 sons all file their own individual tax returns. Individually, I would doubt that any of them earn over $100,000. So on that basis, they all earn significantly under the threshold, making them eligible. But if you looked at them as a collective household, they would certainly earn over the threshold. Does that make sense? The point I want to bring up is this. They don't determine it on your household. They determine it on tax return income. Income that would be reported on a tax return. Now, you might be thinking, wait, you're contradicting yourself. At the beginning of the video, you said you don't need to file a tax return. You're right. You don't need to file a tax return in general to be eligible for these types of stimulus payments, dividend payments, or distribution payments. Here's the deal. Whether you file a tax return or not, the IRS and the Treasury already know everything about you. They know how much money you earn down to the penny. They already know it. So whether you file or not, they've already got a pulse on your income. So according to this article, they're talking about incomes being under $100,000 per household, which is good to know, but we're still waiting for official guidance on this out of the administration. Just to be 100% fair with you, we're still waiting for that official guidance, but it's going to be based on individual or married couple as far as how someone would file a tax return if they filed a tax return on the federal level, not the state level, the federal level. Think of your own personal situation. You could be working full-time, working part-time, working none. You could be living on fixed income benefits, which I know a lot of you in this community are living on, benefits administered by Social Security. Whatever the situation, it does not matter. If you're an individual, just answer this one question. Whatever your income is, earned income or income paid to you through benefits on an individual level, is your income below, say, $75,000 a year? Yes or no? That's the only thing you need to be asking. If you're a married couple and you would file a joint return, if you were to file a tax return in the first place, is your income below $15,000 a year? Yes or no? Now, this is not tax advice. This is not accounting advice. I'm not your CPA. I'm not your accountant. Talk to your own professional. But my point is, that's all you really need to know about this. Those are the income thresholds I anticipate them to come out with. The reason being is these are the common thresholds that they've used over the years when they distribute these types of dividend stimulus payments, economic impact payments, anything like this. They've generally used the threshold of $75,000 a year as an individual, $150,000 a year as a married couple. And remember, it's not necessarily based on household income. It's based on what you would report on a tax return if you were to file as an individual or a married couple. That's what it's about. I've been saying this for a couple of months now since the president originally floated this idea of this $2,000 distribution dividend payment, this rebate payment. Just focus on the income. It's not about filing a tax return. It's not about working. It's not about all these other hoops that everybody else makes it sound like you need to jump through. That's not what it is. It's income-based. This includes people on Social Security. Whether you're getting retirement, disability, SSI, your benefits count as income, but they're generally well under these thresholds. Veterans on VA benefits, same thing. Your VA disability or pension counts, but most veterans are under these limits. Moms and parents working part-time. If you're earning under $75,000 individually, you're in people on fixed incomes, disability benefits, retirement benefits, whatever it is, the unemployed or underemployed. If your income dropped and you're under the threshold, you qualify. The key is your income, period. Not your work status, not whether you file taxes, your income. Now, based on Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and what he said, income's under $100,000. He just randomly threw that number out there. By the way, that was not an official number. We still do not have an official proposal on this as we speak right now. Who knows? Maybe it comes out later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe in 3 months. We don't know. But back at the end of 2025, I had a video about this. Feel free to scroll back and find it. The video is still here on the channel from maybe like 3 weeks ago. I remember the exact date now. It was December 22nd. Kevin Hassett, the White House economic advisor, was out in an interview the previous day. I posted the clip of him speaking, and it was very interesting because he was saying he anticipates the official proposal to come out early in 2026. Hello, guess where we are? Early 2026. Come on, let's see it, right? So I would anticipate whether it's actually happening or not, we don't know. But I wouldn't be shocked if we see an official proposal on this at some point sooner rather than later to get us excited, get us talking, get us the details. And within the official proposal, it'll tell us exactly the income thresholds, the real income thresholds, not just some willy-nilly Scott Bessent saying, it's $100,000. It's nice to have that little bit of a benchmark. We can use that as a placeholder, but that is not going to be the official threshold on the income. I would imagine that's not going to be it. I think it's going to be significantly lower than that. I think it's going to be about $75,000 for an individual and $150,000 for a married couple. If it were honestly up to me, I would say it should even be lower than that. I would say maybe like $60,000 or $50,000 as an individual and maybe like a $100,000, maybe $120,000 as a married couple. But it doesn't matter. That's just what I'm saying about it. Let's just see what happens here. Now, let me give you some genuinely good news about this whole situation based on past stimulus payments. If this follows the same pattern, here's what we can expect. First, the payment typically won't count as taxable income. That means when you file taxes next year, you won't owe on this money. Second, these payments are usually protected from debt collectors and garnishment, at least initially when the payment is issued. Third, if you've received direct deposit from the IRS before from previous stimulus checks or tax refunds, you'll likely get this deposited automatically. No waiting for checks in the mail. Fourth, based on the Treasury Secretary's comments and the timing we're hearing, this could potentially start rolling out in the coming months if the proposal gets finalized soon. The fact that 58% of Americans would qualify is actually a pretty broad reach. That's over 150 million people who could potentially benefit from this. Now, I want to be straight with you. We're still waiting for the official proposal. Everything we're discussing is based on comments from administration officials, historical patterns from previous payments, and what makes logical sense given the stated goals. There could be changes, the thresholds could shift, the timeline could move, but the framework is there, and the intention has been stated publicly by the president and key members of his administration. The Census Bureau data showing that 42% of households earn over $100,000 is interesting. But remember, that's household data, not individual or married filing jointly data. There's a big difference. Many people in those households file separate returns with incomes well under the threshold. So here's what I want you to do. Step 1, don't stress about filing status or work status. Focus on income. Do you earn under $75,000 individually or $150,000 as a married couple? If yes, you're likely in good shape. Step 2, keep an eye out for the official proposal. When it drops, I'll be covering it here on the channel immediately with all the details. Step 3, make sure your information is up to date with the IRS if you've moved or changed bank accounts since the last time you received a payment from them. This will help ensure smooth delivery when payments go out. Step 4, don't fall for scams. When this becomes official, there will be scammers trying to get your information. The IRS will never call you asking for personal information or payment to receive your stimulus. Step 5, be patient. Even when the proposal is official, it takes time to process and distribute payments to over 150 million people. So again, I wanted you to see this article so you could see the details and understand the statistics based on the Census Bureau data and the explanation of household versus tax return differences. It's a big difference. The bottom line is this: 58% of Americans being included is significant. If you're a mom working part-time, a veteran on benefits, someone on Social Security or disability, or anyone earning under these thresholds, there's real potential help on the horizon. Is it finalized? No. Is it guaranteed? No. But the signals are there. The discussions are happening, and we're in the time frame that White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett talked about for when we'd see an official proposal. Otherwise, please subscribe if you're new here. Please share the video 100% free. Big share button right down below. Check out the other 6,000 plus videos here on the channel. Enjoy your day. Leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Please enjoy your day. Take care. Hope this helps you. Subscribe, share, and I'll catch you again later in the next